Selling forth.
Well, what was it? Because I have a different headset that I've been using, but I haven't tested the microphone on that one, so we haven't been using it in that broader sense.
That's what that is.
Yeah. So, like, the ones I've been using, like, when I'm back at my home setup, basically, they don't have a microphone attached. The microphone is separate from it. That's why the audio is, in my opinion, a lot cleaner. You don't have to worry about that.
I'm just realized I'm using a new character, and I'm looking at her. Does she have... Oh my gosh, she does have Gloomy Puppet Show. I could never do that move.
Oh, is that the one where you gotta sit there and dance and do things?
It's basically DDR with the button commands, yes.
Yeah.
It's weird, because trying to do that shit on a controller is obnoxious, because I'm using a controller, not a fight stick, for those of you, in the know or not in the know. I don't really use a fight stick, because I never really bothered to try and buy one, and two, if I wanted to fight an arcade, I want an arcade cabinet, not a fight stick. But yeah, like, that movie seems like, is that move here?
Pretty sure it is.
Yeah, it is in there. I'm trying not to do it by accident because it's with kicks, and most of Lilith's better moves are with her kicks. You gotta be careful with that. But until next thing, next bundle of news that are coming about accordingly.
Actually, I could do some more digging, but the short version is like, well, I'm kind of tapped because that was the last major thing that I got for this week.
Oh, before, well, as I'm going forth, trying to, in between, look at Darkstalkers and all that stuff, they want to do a sequel to the Dodgeball movie.
Okay, well, even the director didn't like the ending of the Dodgeball movie, so I can kind of see that at least.
With Ben Stiller making a return accordingly, like, I'm wondering, is he going to be in the fat suit the entire time? Or something?
I kind of doubt it.
That's probably like my partial question.
Yeah,
as well as in the works is going to be another Fantastic Four film, and the main focus is going to be Doctor Doom. No surprise there. I'm glad that they still have Doom as their main focus, but how are they going to do this Fantastic Four film?
Well, Fantastic Four has actually been like one of the longest Marvel running families. So, I mean, it makes sense as, like, they want to bring them into the MCU because they have many long-standing villains, such as, like, Doctor Doom and Galactus, both of which are significant characters that you could write massive plot lines off of.
As well as more than any other time, the Fantastic Four has ran into the Silver Surfer more than anybody else.
Well, yeah, because that makes sense because they're the ones that fucking ran into the Surfer and then Galactus.
Yeah, because hell, the Four was the one who actually let everybody know, hey, there's this big planet-sized thing coming towards us because whatever reason we're astronauts and or astrologers, and shit in this universe is going sideways for whatever reason we cannot understand. Can we get some backup here? Sure. Plus, it would also help with Marvel Zombies because Reed Richards and other stuff accordingly would also help because he's part of the collective Illuminati and Brain Trust or whatever.
Well, I mean, that works both ways, actually. Fucking, when he was part of the Marvel Zombies lineup, actually, he was one of the big brains that decides, like, oh, let's jump across the dimension so that we can see other we can eat other people.
Yeah, because he was one of the ones. Yeah, he was one of the ones in Aki over there. Green Bat's clothes, nice. Well, her actual clothing in itself are bats. That is no ifs, ands, or buts. They are bats that she's literally controlling with her own power, and she can change her outfit accordingly to however she feels.
I was they kind of operate by Bayonetta rules in a sense where it's like, oh, well, it's like she's as clothed as her magic needs her to be.
Because, like, those bats are essentially souls that she has collected. Each and every one of them.
Kind of. I mean, from what I understand, like, Lilith being a split soul, was like, she didn't really follow the same as her sister, or
Morgan.
However you want to phrase that.
It's easier to just say sister because it's less brain energy.
Yeah, but like, you know, so realistically, like, she doesn't have the same kind of like succubus ties. I mean, she does. She still is a succubus as far as I know, but it's like, you know, she hasn't been born long enough to carry the kind of weight or souls that fucking Morgan has.
Well, though she is technically by all standards younger than Morgan by a large margin, she has racked up a significantly high kill count in the actual Darkstalkers lore.
I'll take your word on that because I'm not familiar. I know that more or less Lilith is basically a tool that
was created. She is a portion of Morgan's soul soul and power that was split off from her because Morgan's father Belial adopted Morgan. She was horrendously powerful. He decided to okay, let me seal away this portion of her soul and power when Jeddah got revived by whoever the fuck did it, because that's a story on its own. Who the fuck revived Jeddah?
Well, according to Lord, Jeddah just regenerated.
Whatever reason, but yeah, and he decided I found this thing that was sealed away. I'm going to give it a body of its own.
Right.
Because sure,
she does not have the body count that Morgan
Lilith has more body count because when she became conscious, it became essentially her own person, and I'm paraphrasing that. She literally just kind of went. It's not essentially going on a rampage. Essentially, she just turned 21. She wants to party. The end. Versus Morgan, I've been doing this for years. I know my limits, and I'm just gonna, just go out, just have fun. I just turned 21. It's beer time. We're going to we're going to every bar in the state. We're going. It's literally. I'm going to wake up with a hangover that kills everything. And unfortunately, she literally cleared out an entire city herself on soul draining alone.
Oh right, but it's I would still she's still a novice by comparison kind of thing.
With knowing what she's doing or power wise.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Well, she doesn't know what her powers do. She's actually stronger than Morgan, but it's all in her. It's mentality. It's her mentality. She doesn't know that she's stronger than Morgan. I have muted it. Oh god. Almost did the wrong super I didn't want to do.
Well, yeah, and I get that. The fact she hasn't been alive long to really experience or grow with these powers. So it's
I was literally created with horrendously broken powers that don't know what they do altogether.
I got one for you. It's an odd comparison, but it's a similar comparison. Zod from Injustice.
Did not know the yellow sun could actually do things.
Right.
Gotcha.
And it's all of a sudden he's oh, well now I have all these powers, and it's oh, well I can look into people and I can blast fucking heat lasers from my eyes. And it's he can do it, it's just that he's not as refined as Kal-El.
That's Superman, who grew and learned to use his powers as going from Superboy to Superman, as that whole animated series plotted out. I at least the early Superman when he was still a kid learning about his powers, versus here's my comic book origin after the fact of everything that I grew up on a farm in Kansas. Yeah, okay, sure. I love the character. I'm learning about my powers, and here's my character growth because I'm learning about my power.
Well, yeah, it was you say the growth and evolution of Superman is I think it's Smallville, and it's Smallville is its own fucking weirdness.
Yeah, out of all the DC media when it comes to Superman, Smallville's where I actually kind of lean towards hey, here's my character growth of me learning stuff about who and what I am and what I'm capable of, and with my powers that I have spontaneously done the thing, kind of almost how they do with X-Men and all that stuff, but less of the mutant kind is bad. I'm no, they're not inherently bad. People are bad, with or without powers, regardless.
Well,
oh, fuck me.
Okay. I'm waiting for the big fuck you moment. I think I know what's coming.
Fuck. I wasted. God damn it! And there was a trophy for it too. God. All right, fine, whatever.
Oh, okay. You actually got the fucking super. All right.
Yeah, because I was like too focused on her kicks, so they're better normals and all that stuff, and did the thing. God damn it! I didn't want to do the thing.
Anyway, I mean, so
But
like
Lilith's growth in her powers. That's what we were on, and then we got sidetracked with Superman and his bullshit of existing.
well, I mean, Superman has his high points, as I'll phrase them. They're not immaculate compared to like Marvel stuff. Like I like Marvel stuff a lot more because I just find it more interesting, kind of thing.
It is more interesting. Story lore with Lilith. I'm pretty sure you've seen in fan art with her in BB Hood. She's one of the first humans that she came across, and I seen one of the first before her sadistic streak became literally a mile. Because she's like, oh, this human creature is friendly, wants to be my friend, and then saw her sadistic nature. I guess that's how humans are supposed to be. And then insert Lilith body count here. It's partially BB Hood's fault. She's, sadistic in nature and all that crap. Like, it's partially her fault. Congratulations.
Well, I don't know if I'd agree with that. It's like, in a broader sense, I'd kind of like point out like true ignorance.
I mean, first time being in existence, and one of the first few people, like, is her actual first coming to existence. She just kind of wandered off, did whatever, and then came across BB Hood, and BB Hood's designation just kind of took hold. Like, that's kind of interesting. I want to do that. Like, don't do that.
Let me give you one. And we have to go back to Marvel for this because, of course, like that's where 90% of my fucking comparisons come from.
Yes, it is. Oh shit.
The Purple Man. Specifically, the Jessica Jones Purple Man.
Thank you.
From the Netflix adaptation.
Fucking bullets for days with this chick.
That was played by David Tennant.
Oh no, a good doctor becoming the villain. Who can see that happening again?
But no, he actually brings up a convincing argument. So, for those not in the know, the Purple Man in Jessica Jones has a virus-like ability, whereas like if he gets in such distance of you that if he asks of something of you, you will do it, kind of thing. So it's like, you know, hey, stick your hand in a blender, but don't touch the blades. And you literally, like, fucking go all the way down to the point where you're next to touching the blades, but you won't touch it. Then he'll ask you, like, go closer. And go closer, kind of thing. He actually does this to that, but it's kind of fucking, like, chilling when he does it.
That's fucked up.
Well, anyway. But he brings up an interesting point of, like, true ignorance. So, his powers manifested when he was a teenager, kind of thing. You know, and of course, you know, when you're making only the best and rashest decisions of your entire life.
Your teenage years, going through puberty, high school, and how that was. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just imagine if I had time and space-based powers in high school. I'm gonna fuck with everybody.
Well, and that's exactly the point. You know, what if by comparison, it's like, you know, if you ask someone something and they had to follow and they had to obey. You know,
I would never fail any test in high school ever.
Well, yeah, but I'm not talking about for the use of potentials. I'm just talking about for the potential of, like, you know, your sense of right and wrong would therefore
become so far fucking warped. Anything that's right and wrong in actual morality becomes what's right and wrong to you. Oh, it's right for me to do whatever I want, and it's wrong for anybody else to tell me what to do with what I have.
Because you've had no fucking, like, pushback from any of this, like, you know, since you were basically old enough to finally, like, comprehend, like, you know, extensive plans.
Yeah, because Lilith and her morality goes right and wrong. I don't understand what that is, and I don't care. That's with Lilith, and if you, because most of her end quotes are inclined to her, she technically does have an artificial body, or a body that's generally just not hers, but she wants her own life and a will of her own. She doesn't want to be anchored to Morgan.
Right, she doesn't want to be chained to basically her own destiny, kind of thing. You know, which is, she is literally just a piece of a larger puzzle.
And doesn't want to be someone else's puppet, because she actually backstabs and betrays Jeddah, and Jeddah tries to kill her for that.
That's what I mean, it's like, and I can kind of see it from that angle too, where it's like, oh, well, it's like, I am a manufactured piece of 1/3 of a whole. Like, you know, why can't I just be why can't I be myself, my own thing, kind of thing? It's like, well, no, it's like, you only work as a full complete unit. It's like, says who?
Oh, I got another parallel to that. Dinobot from Beast Wars, when they brought in his clone, and then he literally became himself at the very end after Rampage died.
I mean, I see where you're going with that, but that was also clunky as fuck.
It was stupid. It was clunky as fuck. If they had more time, well, essentially more time when I do, it's like, and CG animation is a bitch and a half to do it, even with current standards. If they had more time to flush shit out in Beast Wars, my god, it would be glorious.
Well, like, I even kind of got to the point where I argued, it was like, you know, Beast Wars was like the saving grace of fucking Transformers.
It was. And I'm not gonna lie, because they had the Gen 1 in the friggin' in there somewhere. The Unicron pair, like, oh no, we're just projecting this image because this is one of your, this memory sticks out in your mind the most, and we're just making ourselves look like that from those friggin' aliens. I'm like, that is a dick move. That memory sticks out because it's traumatizing. Why? Like that movie Contact. That was I hate that. That movie is good and equally annoying.
I've never seen that. But carry on.
But yeah, but anyway,
if you're worrying about spoilers, I'm not.
Oh no, it's remember that it's essentially they're getting literally the movie in itself getting in contact with alien life as a whole. They are sending sort of like messages accordingly. The first they send messages through as through binary code. They decoded the binary as to actually scan lines through a picture, but the scan lines in themselves were well, it was a picture of like one of the first TV transmissions that ever was recorded, and unfortunately one of the first TV transmissions ever recorded was Hitler making a speech. And then through that actual barcode, the way it actually came out, they deciphered it. The lines of the picture that they sent with Hitler and making his speech were actually a code on how to build a machine to get in contact with them. Basically, the scan lines of an old box TV. Yeah.
There's all sorts of fucking weird shit you can do with that.
All of that was just a lining and code. They finally deciphered it, and it was essentially the way they had the code laid out was in a 3D map plane. It was basically the way they had it was just layered out. It just looked weird. I'm like, that's clever and annoying at the same time, because whose brain works like that?
I mean, I can get into a whole fucking thing about this.
Please don't. No! But, oh god. I almost did the wrong super and it scared me.
What is that? Oh, no!
Like, I almost did the wrong... But, yeah, they figured it out, made a machine to do the thing, to contact the aliens and meet them and all that stuff, and we got plot and story that I'm just gonna gloss over.
Yeah, just kind of chill out for that. Just like...
But long story short, they make the machine. First machine fails. And notice how I say first machine.
I'm more surprised that fucking, the timeout is like literally Lilith falling down.
It's Lilith basically accepting the destiny because...
I get it. It's weird, but I get it.
Accepting her place, like, okay, I'm a part of Morgan, she's a part of me, and we both need to coexist. And then Morgan essentially accepting her role as the leader of her family and doing all that business nonsense. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, they both became one. But, in the broader sense of that... after Morgan did kind of accept the other half, her other self and other half with Morgan, them becoming one person, she also more or less freed Lilith because her subconscious is still there.